here in Berlin, Kreuzberg, and I'm here interviewing Prodromos because Kiriki and I attended a performance of a play on Sunday called Telemachos, and we found it such an interesting play we wanted to find a little bit more about the play itself. So I'm wondering if you could maybe tell us, first of all, what the play is about.
Okay. The play is called Telemachos, Should I Stay or Should I Go? And we did it here in Berlin at the Bauhaus Naulingstraße in Kreuzberg together with my friend and colleague. We do together the directing and also the writing with the ensemble, of course, Anestis, Azas. We've been working together for the last 4 years. And the play, when we first had the idea, we were in Greece in a little square. It was summer 2011, and we were thinking, okay, what could we do next? And Anestis has a friend, he was studying with him at Ernst he was studying with him directing, direct theater directing, Nurkan Erbulat. And he had, Nurkan had this great success with a play he wrote with Hillje and directed called Verrücktes Blut, Crazy Blood. And Nurkan kind of invited Anestis to, why don't you do a play here? Why don't you come back from Greece, come back to Berlin and make a proposal? Anestis told me about it, and we sat together in this square in Petralona in Athens, and we're thinking, okay, what could we propose? What is interesting for us to say to a German audience? What is important for us? And of course, we thought about the crisis, and then we said, okay, why don't we do a performance where we let people, immigrants from the first generation, the so-called first generation who came to Germany, to Berlin in the 50s and the 60s, let these people meet with young people from Greece today.
The new generation.
The new generation who can't find a job, or can't find any perspective, or don't see a future in Greece, although they have all their diplomas and they studied and they studied like crazy, and they're leaving now the country. Let these people meet on stage and share stories. From the Odyssey, we wanted to not play the Odyssey. That was from the beginning clear. We don't want to play the Odyssey. Nobody's gonna come and pretend he's a monster now, or he's the Cyclops or whatever. But we wanted only to take some themes, motives, and atmospheres. So what happens in the Odyssey? People, a lot of the action doesn't really happen. Odysseus is just saying his story to
it's all about telling stories.
It's about telling stories, and what happens when they tell stories? They eat. They eat a lot, and they grill the entire book. They grill and they eat, and somebody's playing music on right behind them.
And that's what you have in the play. You have the DJ in the corner, who also at one point takes over the telling of the tale.
Exactly. The DJ is Yanis Tsoukalas, and he had a shop, a record shop in Thessaloniki, which closed, and then he was unemployed. He was trying to do different jobs in Thessaloniki, but he couldn't find one. He said, I was walking around like a zombie in the city together with all the other unemployed people, and we had no hope, we had no dreams, no nothing. And then that's when I decided to come to Germany. He actually only greeted his parents, and then he went. Then he stepped into his car and he drove to Berlin. I'm playing Telemachos, the son of Odysseus, who in the beginning of the Odyssey is asking himself if he should go look for his father, who's missing for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And he can't handle the whole situation in his palace. There are many people who came who want to marry his mother, and they're destroying everything he has, all his fortune, everything he owns is.
They're eating him out of house and home.
Exactly, and I'm playing this Telemachos, who also, me as Prodromos, I'm also finding myself in a situation in Greece where I say, I have to go somewhere else because I have this feeling that other people are eating away everything I could have or everything I have.
Like you were saying before, that you were a kind of someone outside the drama, in that you're setting it up and you're introducing these people on stage, and you're like the Telemachos character, but you're also a character within the drama as well. And that's quite a nice echo of the Odyssey and the position of Odysseus, as someone both a character within the epic, the main hero, but also at some point the narrator, who takes over the telling of the tale as well. So that was, I thought, there were many features like that were echoing quite nicely the narrative journey that you go through in the Odyssey. And you were saying, and I thought it was significant that you're playing Telemachos here, that you're not, this isn't, I guess it would again be too easy to have this play as like the Odyssey or Odysseus. So I thought it was an interesting gesture to begin with Telemachos, and you have the play centered around Telemachos.
And yeah, I can only say yes. You're absolutely right. We didn't want to make the Odyssey. Everybody knows about Odysseus, but the interesting character, we wanted to have the weight of the performance to his son. What happens actually to his son? His son in the book, he starts as a frightened young man who doesn't know his identity, who's not sure if Odysseus is his real father. Everybody's questioning, are you the son of Odysseus? You don't remind
and he's also questioning himself. He doesn't know.
He's also questioning himself.
Who can tell who their father is?
Exactly, and he's going on this journey, helped by Athena, Athena, to help find not only his father but also himself.
That's right, yeah.
And then, what is interesting in Telemachos, in the end of the play, you see a totally different person from the beginning. The perception we have in Greece, or maybe also here in Germany, but I'm not sure, but in Greek school is that the Odyssey ends with an happy end, that Odysseus comes back and he kills the bad guys and he's reunited with his family, and okay, his dog may died, but he at least saw Odysseus one last time. And that's not ever what happens in the book. In the book, you have Telemachos, who is hanging all the female servants.
Yeah, for having slept with the suitors.
For having
betrayed the house.
Yes, and this is an escalation of violence, which crosses a line. Yeah. It's a different thing to kill maybe these suitors, and a different thing to kill. How would you call them?
The maids.
The maids. Yeah. It's a different thing to kill the maids. After hanging these maids, all the relatives and all the friends of the suitors come after Telemachos and after Odysseus to get revenge.
Yeah.
And this is something they somehow forget to tell at school. And after a divine intervention by Zeus and Athena, they stop it and they say, let's make peace now. But today there are no gods, and actually the whole thing ends with a civil war.
That's the interesting thing.
I'm not explaining it good. Maybe you can.
No, well, I think you're right, though. And in fact, this is something.
This is what we were discussing.
This is something that we were thinking about at the end of the play. It was quite because I think if I can remember correctly, you echo what you've just been talking about. How you have this kind of quasi-civil war on Ithaca, and you have this at the end of your play. And I thought that was an interesting. Way to a kind of problem to leave with the audience, because again, the way we think about the Odyssey, the way we think about Odysseus as the main character, or even with the journey that Telemachos goes through in terms of both finding his father, but also figuratively about growing up, you can get this sense that things end quite well. But as Odysseus says, after having killed all the suitors, this isn't going to be the end of things. it's difficult enough to kill one person, but to kill a whole community of young men, there are going to be
kills around 120 people.
That's right, and the last book of the Odyssey, the last movement of the Odyssey, is really exploring just the beginning of some of these difficulties with basically a civil war between the relatives of the suitors and Odysseus' family and supporters. And I thought that was interesting. It was interesting that your play should focus on that and not the comfortable ending, when he's in bed with his wife or reunited with his father. But you end with, again, a crisis, because that's how the Odyssey ends. And you have that crisis finished in the Odyssey, but very much artificially. But as you say, by the gods. Zeus saying, let them stop, let them make peace, let them forget all this conflict. And then they still fight, and then Athena comes down and goes, okay, that really is enough now. Odysseus pulls him back, and so it's interesting what you're saying about how your choice that you should make about ending with this civil conflict. But the problem in the contemporary world, of course, is that there are no gods to come down and say, okay, that's enough. Sort yourselves out now. Forget this conflict. So I was wondering, what are you leaving there for the audience to take home with them?
So we wanted to end with this text and tell the entire book how it ends. Not only to be the smart asses to say it ends like this and not with an happy end, but also to make parallels to what is going on in Greece right now, because we are on the bridge of a civil war. It's not with guns, and it's not on the mountains, but we have a situation in Greece where people are turning against each other. The left wing is against the right wing. We have this problem of the uprising Nazi party in Greece. We have social groups turning against each other, workers against unemployed people, people who get 500 euros against people who have 600 euros, and so on. And we wanted to end this performance with this υπενθύμηση μιας
reminder
with a reminder of what could happen in this in our society in Greece, and not only in Greece, it could also be in Spain or in Italy or later in other countries. We wanted to end the performance with, I like to say, with a question mark and not with Ausrufezeichen.
Yeah, with an exclamation mark. And I think that's such an interesting reading of the Odyssey, because as much as the Odyssey is this great kind of romance epic, and in many ways a forerunner to the novel, and it's all about the man getting home to his woman, it's so much more than that, of course, and much more complicated, particularly with the way it ends. And so you can celebrate with Odysseus killing the suitors, but it doesn't allow you to forget the slaughter. It doesn't allow you to forget, actually, that the problems are going to remain. And I think it does a very good job of keeping the crisis open even as it comes to an end. So the gods come down to artificially close the narrative, but that doesn't end all the questioning. And I thought your play does a very good job of kind of echoing that kind of crisis at the end. The last thing is just for you to advertise the play. So it's been running so far in Berlin. This is the play Telemachos. It's been running so far in Berlin. Where else are you going with it?
We're going to Athens at Onassis Cultural Center, who's also the co-producer of the performance. We're going to play there from February 27th to March 10th. And then we're going to come back to Berlin in mid-April for more performances. And then we will see.
And is there going to be a recording that people, if they're not fortunate enough to be either in Athens or Berlin, where they can watch it? Do you have a...
It has been recorded. I hope we can put it on Vimeo sometime.
Hopefully we can have a link on the website.
As long as it is playing, we can't do that. So after it stops, I don't know when, maybe after the German elections, we will try to have it, of course, on Vimeo so people can see it. And we also tried to have as much audience as possible. That's why we had also subtitles through the entire play. Every time we said something in German, you can read it in Greek above the stage. 3 times we played also with English subtitles, so that we try to get this, try to find, create a phase, a body of this financial crisis, because you read in the papers about it, you hear about it on television, but you actually maybe haven't talked to a Greek person and heard his perspective on things.
And it's such an interesting way to think about the crisis through projecting it through these ancient myths as well. So the Odyssey is there in the background, but it's just a way of a kind of a sounding board for the contemporary crisis. But somehow it gives it depth and it adds more voices into this dialogue.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing story. That's why I think it's a great book, and I didn't read it just like since school. And in school it was, I don't want to say censored, but it was only certain things you learned from the Odyssey. And now after reading the entire thing, I think, it's great. And there's so many things you can do. You can do a whole performance out of one rhapsody, for example. The part where he goes down to Hades and meets the dead persons. Where Odysseus meets his mother, for example. Or the meeting with his dog, for example, or the Cyclops, and many. You can do so much. This is so complicated. It's far more than just one guy who wants to go home and meet his wife and his son again. It has a lot to do with also with politics, about betrayal, how he sacrifices some of his Gefährten, Syndrophus, friends on the ship to go home. A lot of things which I'm not good explaining right now, but read the book.
Read the book, and if you can, watch the play, and if you can't, then we will have a link on the website once the play is finished. And it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you every success.
Thank you very much.
Let's keep in touch.
Of course.